Hello, world. Welcome back. Another incredible episode of Grammys and Heismans. I'm your host, Chuck Walton, alongside JG, Justin, DJ Lagway, G and Grande. Y'all see what's going on, man. Look, we out the gate, we are biased. You know, unless you live under a rock or another planet. Our client, our little brother, DJ Lagway, has been named the starting quarterback this week for the game at Sanford. So let's get a round of applause. You know, it's big news. We also got two special guests in the building, two incredible young brothers that are doing something very, very special that we'll get to later in the show. But we got the incredible Evans, Travis Harvey, no relation to Steve, right? No relation to Steve from the LACED Academy. Welcome, fellas. Welcome to the show.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. So, I mean, look, guys, you guys working with some of the top players, quarterbacks, but, you know, our quarterback, DJ, is about to get to spin the rock in Florida this week. You guys got college football backgrounds. Let's just kind of open it up, man. What are the expectations for DJ? You know, especially as a true freshman getting his first start in only week 2. You know, what can we expect coming from, you know, guys like yourself that played the game?
Yeah, I mean, I think DJ is in a good position. You know, when Florida Gators lose to Miami, you know, everything moving forward from that situation is, you know, not a good situation, right? You want to beat Miami, you know, right. that Miami and Florida State
we
for sure.
Need to be competitive.
For sure. You know, and to lose to that game, it's not like he lost the game, you know. So coming in now, I think they're expecting him just to manage the team, you know, show some flashes, but you know, all in all, just go out and you know, compete. You know, I think that's what they're really looking for. From him.
Can I ask you a question? Your first time you ever got into the game, you know, like what did that night before feel like? You know, like your first time actually stepping field on a college field. What was that feeling feel like?
I mean, so I played at Nevada first, right? So my first game in college was against Grambling, which is not as a competitive game.
Right.
My second game was against Texas Tech when Michael Crabtree was there. So that's a different type of sleep compared to a Grambling
Crabtree
sleep.
in college was like Randy Moss at every level.
And I played corner, so I had to stick him. You know, so I mean,
I don't know your game, but I'm just
so I mean, like, you know, and granted, I played DB, you know, so I had a lot of different variables that was around me compared to quarterback, you know, where it's all eyes on you.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think, you know, for a person that is a quarterback that's coming into a game or scenario like that, you kind of like have to kind of lean on your experience from high school, the competitive games that you played. But I think it you know, the first 2 snaps will be, you know, a little bit shaky, but it's just like anything. Once you start, you go, you back to what you used to do.
Well, me, just from this, like, I just know DJ, and I know he's excited. He went to Florida to really lead them back. You know, just like any competitor, you guys train athletes and know competitive, like when you're sitting on the sidelines and you want to be able to help your team, I know that is tough for him, but I know he's super excited. And, you know, I think looking in, we've heard it 7 million times. They have the toughest schedule of all time. We get it. I think it's a great opportunity for him to, like you said, show a spark, give some, you know, premonition of what's coming and really just lead. You know, hopefully he goes out there and stays within himself, doesn't think he has to win it all by himself. But Chuck was saying, you know, I think he'll do everyone proud. And I think everyone's just kind of excited to see him. Look, this also kind of leads into the NIL side of it, just in general. Like, you know, these days, gone are the days of, you know, everyone waits 2 years and then plays. At the end of the day, I hate to say it, there's finances and salary caps and general managers, and people want to see the best talent on the field. So I think we all saw the Gator Nation just go crazy the moment he went on, right? And so now everyone wants to see more. But just said, what are your thoughts?
I mean, he's a Gatorade Player of the Year, so, you know, he has the talent. I would just say, you know, don't let, you know, your nerves and stuff get over you. Like you said, you've been playing football your whole life. It's the same game, you know. As far as me leading up before the game, I just, you know, try to visualize what I'm going to do, the type of game I want to have. And then, you know, it may sound crazy, but like for me the night before games, it was times where it's like, okay, I want to do this. These are my goals. This how many catches, yards I'm trying to have. And I would actually like dream about it and then go do it the next day. And it used to be crazy.
You know, that's a good point. I was telling Chuck, no one knows this. Well, I mean, people know this. DJ's actually tonight, this was not planned, but tonight, Zach Williams is a singer. they're having him at the O-Dome, and Tim Tebow's hosting, and DJ is announcing Tim. So DJ's mom's announcing him, then DJ's announcing Tim, which is crazy. Not planned, didn't have this. If you don't think sometimes things are God ordained. I spoke to Mrs. Lagway on the way in here, and it's just cool. I think it's look, to take as bad as a beating they did last week. I think Gator Nation's in a place finally where it's like this at least feels like we're headed the right way. So we'll take that win.
They need some kind of hope. I mean, I want to ask you guys a question. I mean, speaking to DJ, it's a thing that we talked about a couple episodes ago that I've been talking about since I was a young pup playing the position. But DJ Lagway is a black quarterback. And, we had a big announcement as well this morning. Our very own Michael Vick has announced his series, The Evolution of the Black Quarterback, that will star on Amazon September 24th after the Thursday Night Football game. So guys, go tune into that. And that's something I've been passionate about. My whole life. I played the position as a kid. My dad played it. So I grew up knowing about Doug Williams and, Shaq Harris and Marlon Briscoe. And Michael Vick's my favorite athlete ever. And he knows that. He came to my 30th birthday party, which was like, man, to this day, I'm like the hero back home for that. Shout out to Brian Scher. But let's talk about that. I mean, DJ is part of that tree that was chopped down, right? You guys have Jaden Wade, all these future. I mean, a lot of the top quarterbacks right now are black quarterbacks.
15, I think there's 15 out of the starting 30,
for
right?
week one, yeah. Like half the league is going to be black quarterbacks. Talk about just, what that means for you guys, obviously being, African-American males yourself, but just playing the game and seeing where it's come. I mean, your teammate was Colin Kaepernick, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm. And Teddy Bridgewater.
And Teddy Bridgewater, right? So just talk about what it means to see DJ step into that and be able to try and bring a school like Florida back and also doing it as a black quarterback.
No, I mean, I think it's dope. Again, Colin Kaepernick, Teddy Bridgewater was both of my quarterbacks. And
wow. That's pretty good.
Yeah, that's actually cool.
Yeah. And I actually was, for games, I was roommates with Kaepernick. So both good friends of mine. But, I think it's really dope. And I think that, it allows kids that come from our communities to know that it is a chance that, they can make it at that position and, that they can take their game to the next level based off what they see, kids in front of them do.
Right. Mm-hmm. That's big.
I'm just happy to see the game evolving in that way because me growing up, I played quarterback. So from when I started playing football all the way to college, I played quarterback. And, I was 6'2", 6'3", 185. That wasn't a typical quarterback at that time.
Right.
So I kind of missed the wave, as far as that. So it's just good. They looking for, when I was playing, they looking for 6'5", 230. Pro style quarterback, sit, and do that type of stuff. As far as me, I didn't fit that. So, I'm glad to see that the game is evolving to where it's like, it's not a prototype quarterback anymore. If you could get the job done, you can get the job done. There's different ways to do that job. So I'm just glad that, the coaches and the football is more open to that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, speaking of that term evolution, I mean, that's why we got you guys here, right? Mike, Travis, you guys have done something that's just super incredible to me, right? You guys have created LACED Academy right here in California, which is a school for athletes, like a DJ. We mentioned, Jaden Wade, one of, your prized possessions. But let's just kind of talk about, you guys' start, like how you guys met, how you guys came together. We know about your athletic background. Mm-hmm. How does your paths cross? And then what led to starting the academy? Like, what was the moment that was like, yo, this is what we need to do? And how did you execute that?
Yeah, so we started off as rivals, right? We both played Pop Warner together. So childhood. Wow. He played at Inglewood.
He feels like he got the better.
Wait. Were you a Pop Warner quarterback? And were you corner then too?
I played linebacker.
Okay, so you was chasing him down.
Yeah. And Trav was, special because he played up. Like, I'm older than him, so he played with older kids, growing up. But, we crossed paths playing Pop Warner football, and we've been locked in since then, which football is a, small fraternity. If you play football and you're good, all the other good players. We both separated. I ended up going to Compton High School. He played at Morningside, but we always stayed, in communication through the journey. And when LACED came about, and I was done playing ball, and he was just finished playing ball, we came together and made it happen.
Wow. That's incredible. So tell me just the inspiration behind Lace Facts. Like, what was it something that you saw like the neighborhood needed? Was it something that you felt you guys would have had growing up and might have elevated your actual career if you had something like that?
I mean, it was definitely our experiences. You know, out of Compton, I was a 3-star. I didn't get no scholarships. You know, I had to go the JUCO route. You know, from playing JUCO ball, I ended up having an offer from Memphis. Florida State coach was there. And I had the Nevada offer. I chose to go to Nevada. It was close to home. I knew players that was there, so I just felt more comfortable than going, you know, to Memphis. Started there for a year. Tore my ACL. Doing a flip in the end zone.
Wait, no way.
At practice.
At practice?
We're talking about practice?
We're talking about practice. Yeah.
Oh my God.
And I share my story to the kids, like, because you know, like, from a person that come from our community that had a chance to leave and do something great, and you know, I let the moment get the best of me at practice. And I'm not even a guy that is super athletic to be doing flips. Like,
that's what he looked at like, bro.
So you're not a Tyreek Hill. Like this was like a real fluke.
This is a fluke.
In every kind of
It's a fluke. You know, watching Reggie Bush play, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna do a flip.
He used to do that.
Yeah,
the flip in the end zone.
Came down, tore my ACL.
Oh my God. That's
from there it kind of went all bad. You know, just didn't want to be there no more. You know, ended up getting sent home. You know, so from having those opportunities and it being taken away, now I'm back in Compton. You know, I'm back to, you know, hearing the, you know, sirens and the helicopters and, you know, all that. And I got a bum knee. And a lot of people were saying, you know, it was over for you, Mike. And, you know, I didn't let that get the best of me. I kept working out. I had a friend, Cameron Graham, that played at Louisville. And he said, man, you can come sleep on my couch. Charlie Strong is coming in and he's looking for players, right? And the crazy thing is,
And you rehabbed by this point?
I rehabbed back home.
Okay.
So you rehabbed on your own?
I rehabbed on my own.
Wow.
Took a year off, got my AA, you know, because I couldn't go nowhere unless I got an AA degree.
Right.
And, you know, from there, you know.
At that point, you thinking you definitely going to try to go back at football, or you weren't sure?
I definitely knew I was going to go back. You know, I've always been one of the best players in my community. I just didn't have the measurables, you know, and I wasn't that fast. But I knew the game, right? So Charlie Strong ended up getting the job there, and my friend Cameron Graham was a starting tight end at Louisville. And he said, man, you can sleep on my couch. He gave me the number to GA, Coach Abu. And Abu was like, hey, I can help you get in, but, you know, I can't guarantee that
there's a scholarship.
It's a scholarship involved in it, you know. So I took a one-way flight. You know, my parents was against it. Everybody was against it. Like, you know, the coaches don't know you. I've tried calling the coaches. They didn't answer. You know, and I'm like, Abu, they not answering for me.
Oh, they're picking up. They're feeling good about it.
You know
not really, Mom.
Yeah,
no, actually,
like,
no.
So I just said, man, I'm going to show up. You know, I'm going to show up. So I showed up there, talked to Vance Befford. You know, they like, who is this guy? You know, when I walked in the team room, they're like, who is this guy? You know, and, you know, he said that since my grade is up to par, you know, he allowed me to try out for the team. You know, and that's all I needed. You know, from there I did 1,000 push-ups every night. So I was like benching 450 pounds.
You was ready.
Like I was super strong. I lived with the linemen. Every time it was time to do any reps, I came in first place.
Wow.
So it was a guy that that was a starter that wasn't taking care of business, and they wanted me to push him. They had no intentions of me starting.
Yeah. Like playing or nothing.
They just want me to push him, right?
Yeah.
So they said, okay, Mike, I want you to push this kid. And I'm like, so I'm getting second reps? And that's all I needed, you know, because I can play.
Yep.
So
that's smart.
I couldn't even practice with my helmet on because I was knocking people out every day at practice. Like putting people to sleep. Like every day at practice, people was going to sleep, and Charlie Strong was like, Mike, I ain't gonna have no players. So they took my helmet, you know, and you know, and that's what I was known for in my community. Like I was
knocking
a hitter.
them out.
Like
he was a hitter.
He was a Jack Tatum.
Yeah. So you know, end up starting. You know, earning a scholarship. You know, I never watched any game. I started all. You know, 2 years.
Talk about that moment, because we always see, because, you know, now everything's viral. We always see those moments where it's like that kicker, and he went 30 for 38. And at the end of the year, the coach gives him the scholarship, and everybody's crying and happy for him. Talk about that moment when you were like, hey, like, coach was like, you earned a scholarship.
Yeah.
Especially from where you came from.
Yeah, I mean, it was big for me, but, the job wasn't done for me. I still had, big goals of playing in the NFL, which that was a high hurdle, just because, again, the measurables come into play.
Right.
So I just, really just kept focusing on the goal, and from then I had a chance to do the pro day, do everything like that, and I got a free agent call. I got a call when the Rams was in St. Louis, and a unique situation happened. I talked to my parents and I told them I'm going to hang up my cleats. I didn't go. I didn't take the opportunity to go. And I said, I'm going to help kids in my community be better than what I was and not have to go through what I went through. So that kind of like was the
empowering.
Yeah, the start of Lace Facts. It was just my journey and saying, okay, if I can take kids and install me into them and they have more athletic ability than I have, I can
What year is that?
Top guys.
What year is that, would you say?
This was around 2010, 11. Okay. Yeah.
And what does Lace Facts mean?
So, laced is like being tied into something. So I'm gonna lace you, and that's like a cool word. If I'm talking to you, I'm about to lace you with
I'm gonna give you the game.
I'm gonna give you the game, and facts is the truth, So I'm gonna lace you with,
game truth.
The game of truth. So that's pretty much what we came up with.
I love it.
And Trav's, story was pretty much similar, but he had his own journey.
Yeah, and it's just, adversity. I was, I grew up in Inglewood, so I played Inglewood and Pop Warner, and I was just always the quarterback. That's all I ever played, quarterback. I never played receiver, no other positions. It was just quarterback all the way up. That's what my dad had me on. My dad played quarterback. I was a quarterback, so going through high school, I went to Morningside. My dad went to Morningside. All my family went to Morningside. So that was the situation for me. So me going there, I had a pretty, good high school career. But like I was saying, the new school quarterback situation, I'm not going to use the word jealous, but, they get the shotgun, they get the no huddle, they get to throw 50, 60 times a game, they could run, read options. So a person with my, skill and athleticism, I feel like that would have been good for me. I was running pro style, I formation, bootleg,
32
I was running that. And,
28 toss.
And I made it work, so it was cool. I don't have no complaints about that. But after Morningside, I was a pretty good quarterback. My last game, I broke my ankle. So my senior year,
the last game of the season.
The second to last game. Our last game, we played Inglewood. It's like a rivalry, so I missed that game. But the game before that, I broke my ankle. So, my recruiting and everything kind of took a dive like crazy. So I had different offers, scholarships and stuff like that from different schools, but some wanted me to play receiver. And I'm like, I never played receiver, so why would you, want me to play receiver? But I ended up going to FAMU. Because the schools that were kind of looking at me, I'm like, I'm cool. I'll just go to a HBCU, and make it work. So ending up there, I ended up moving to receiver anyway. So maybe those coaches knew something that I didn't know at the time, so I ended up moving to receiver. But as far as for me, like I was saying with adversity in college, I come in to FAMU as a quarterback. Then, I'm scout team player of the year. And now I'm in a situation to where I could have an opportunity to play. And just to throw it out there, HBCU, you went there, you went to Howard, it's parties, it's all this. This is my first time being away from home. My grades are terrible. Let alone, out of high school, I had 3.8, 4.0 GPA. I go to college. After my first semester, I think I had a 1.6.
Same story, brother.
So just being on my own, waking up on my own, and just having all this free time, I didn't manage it well. I could say that, and take accountability for that. But I was ineligible at FAMU for 2.5 years. So a lot of time I was there, I was just practicing, nobody knew who I was. I had probably the craziest story from college. I was at FAMU 5 years and I played 1 year, my senior year. So
wow,
that was crazy. the mental battles and stuff like that, you know, it was crazy to be able to get out of that. Because, you know, when you go to college, they tell you, look around. When we leave in your senior year, a lot of people not going to be here.
Yeah, they always say that.
And it's so true. And, you know, like I said, I always had good grades, you know. So my parents, when I had that situation, you know, I wanted to come back, go JUCO, do different situations. But they said, no, you know, you got yourself in there, you're going to get it out. Like, we not helping you, you figure it out. So, you know, I couldn't come back home, you know. You know, when you from a certain place, you can't go somewhere and come back and have nothing to show. So, you know, I had to, you know, grow up, get more mature and get my mental right. And then I come back, now I'm playing receiver, so I'm at a new position. I'm calling back like, yeah, man, they moved me to receiver. They like, what? You don't play receiver? And I'm like, you know,
I'm actually
a lot of stuff
nice.
changed. A lot of stuff changed in the last 2-3 years. You know, I've been working. You know, I run a 4.3 now. They like, what? And I'm like, yeah, I run a 4.3. And, you know, I'm about to play receiver, and I got 1 year to do it. And, you know, I want everybody to watch because you're going to be surprised. Nobody never seen me play receiver before. So, like Mike, who know me from playing quarterback, nobody seen me play receiver. So I had 1 year, and like I said, I just put all my goals down. Everybody from HBCUs that went to the NFL in the last 10 years, this was their stats.
You researched
this is what they did. Boom, those are my goals for the season. So I had 1 year, and I think in the first 5 games, I had like 9 touchdowns.
Wow.
And our second game, we played Oklahoma. It's 100,000 there, you know. I think I had like 100 and some yards and a touchdown. So that was kind of like, you know, my entrance to
coming out party.
Yeah. And that's what got me NFL, you know, eyes on me. And that's when, you know, I started getting recruited for that. And it's like, it's a crazy story. But I went from, you know, not playing to now, you know, NFL scouts coming to all my games. They come into FAMU trying to talk to me and, you know, interview me and stuff like that. And I'm like, you know, that's crazy. So just the adversity part, like how you said for Lace Facts, it's like, it's not too many people that went through what we went through, and we're honest about it, and we open about it, and that's what we tell the kids, like, you know, hey, you could be, you know, in a bad situation, it could be good. You could be in a good situation, it could go bad. You know, you could be the underdog right now, and you could be the guy. You know, you just never know.
And by the way, jumping in on that, I mean, you now add this NIL layer to it. I'm just saying, like, expect the unexpected, right? Like, you guys, exactly what you just said. Like, you can be in a good situation. Like, everything can change in 2 weeks, is all I'll say. You know what I mean? In this world now, right? With transfers and this, like, you're no longer protected. Like, you just got to grind it out and make the right of the situation, you know? I think that's something that's a takeaway. I
mean, and talk about Lace Facts in terms of just, like, how you guys select, like, the kids that you guys want to work with. Like, what is that process like? I'm sure it gets crazy, especially in the neighborhood.
It seems like there's some debates.
Yeah, like I know every mom and dad thinks they got
they have a 6-year-old fantasy draft.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
I mean, from when we started,
like we interview the parents first.
Right.
You
got to screen them.
From when we started, it was just training, right? So it was no expectation. Kids was coming just to get work, right? And kids started getting better. And now the word around town is, you know, Lace Facts is getting kids. Every Pop Warner team that has a Lace Facts kid on it is the best kid on the team, right? So our numbers grew. Cool. We say we have a camp. Say if it's Wednesday, we say, hey, we're going to do a camp on Friday. It's 300 kids show up, right? And it's just like, okay, things is growing, right? We end up getting our first facility. The first kid that we trained was Bunchy Young, which was, you know,
Bunchy was everywhere. Sports Illustrated, ESPN. I mean, that's a national name right there.
So when we got the first building, you know, I got him his first offer from Illinois. Illinois actually came to my building, and you know, I talked
How old
to
was he
him.
then?
He was turning 10.
Wow.
You know, he was turning 10. So got him his first offer. From there, every parent brought their kid thinking, I'm about to be the next Bunchy, you know, and the process of that, people didn't see him when he was 7 training. You know, they just see 10 getting the offer.
Right.
You know, and, you know, it got to a point where, you know, we're doing the Under Armour commercials and people not really understanding, but I'm telling them, like, this is where sports is going. You know, I'm telling all kids, hey, if you with me, you should have a social media platform. That parents, oh, I'm old school. If you're good, they'll find you. Everybody is old school I'm talking to, and I'm like, this is where things are going, you know. So, you know, I had a lot of bad feedback in my community from it because everybody was football, when in reality it's football first, but you got a different wave of things that's coming.
The business
element.
And
we want to be prepared for it, right? You know, a lot of people thought it was a fluke with Bunchy, and then we got Haven Finney, his first offer at 9, you know, from Nevada, you know. So now they're like, okay, these people are for real. You know, they really have the connections. They really are innovative in the youth space because people don't want to deal with youth. You know, you get kids that come, you say go, and they just look at you.
Right.
You know, and it's like, who want to deal, like, you know, like people don't want to deal with that. And we chose to deal with it. We chose to, you know, be hard on them because people was flying out from Texas, Florida to come get trained by us, and they'll run out the building because it's so hard. You know, we didn't believe in AC. It's hot when you come. Like you're coming to the trenches, you know, when you come train with us. And that's just because that's where we come from, you know.
Yeah.
And
if it was easy, then, you know.
Yeah, like, you know, you're not going to get that, you know.
Yeah.
You got kids.
You got to really want it.
You get kids and parents that say, my kid is good. And I say, how? You know, again, we played against all these top dudes. He played in NFL. I played against Teddy, you know, played with Teddy and Kaepernick.
Right.
Your kid, a quarterback, he's not better than those two.
Right.
So to me, he's not good.
Right.
You know, he got a lot of work to do. He's 7. He could throw the ball 5 yards.
Yeah. He all right.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, now 7-year-old, they getting that 35, 40 yard going now.
Yeah. So, I mean, but just in general, the expectations for the parents grew because they thought just for being associated with us comes success. And it's a lot more that comes, you know, with success, you know. It's, you know, you taking it to your head and now you're not putting the work in, you know. It's really a long-term plan, and it comes with a lot of adversity a lot of people don't see, you know. So, you know, we just, you know, continue to grow. The kids was with all the kids that you guys see was with us, you know, from 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. at night. Like, we really raised these kids.
Wow.
You know, like, like really raised.
That's what Travis was saying earlier. What was the analogy he was saying about the hours in the day?
Yeah, I'm telling them, man, 2 hours of good and 22 hours of bad is not good. It don't add up. And it's just, you know, we know how hard it is out here. And, you know, sometimes parents, you know, every parent think their kid is good. So, you know, for me, when it's a situation where kids coming in, you know, yeah, I talk to the parents, you know, get the background and everything. But for the most part, I want to talk to the kid, because a parent could say, you know, I want my son to be DJ Lagway and go to Florida and do all this. And then you talk to the kid and he like, I mean, I guess.
Right.
Yeah.
He ain't got the same, right.
I guess I could go to Florida. And my thing is this, it's like, okay, for you to go to Florida Gators and start quarterback and be like DJ Lagway, like, you're going to have to more than want it.
Yeah. Oh,
Not your dad. Like, you're going to have to want it. When people ask you what you want to do, you should say, I'm going to Florida and I'm going to be the starting quarterback. You know, because
that's the barrier. Hard. That's the barrier. If you don't want it that bad, there's a billion people that do.
When you meet people that's just like DJ Lagway, you're going to quit. Because a lot of the kids at the school say, you know, we ask first day of school all the time, what college you want to go to? We get LSU, we get Clemson, we get Georgia, we get USC, we get Bama. And then, you know, that's cool. He went to Louisville. He went to a ACC school. I went to FAMU. So with Florida State being across the street, I want to go there. Like, I was always a guy growing up. Like, I don't want to play HBCU football. I want to play at Florida State in front of 100,000, and I want to make the crowd go crazy. Like, that's just me personally. And if you don't want that, when you see the list and line of people that want to go to LSU and Florida State, you might reconsider. And when you're working out, it should show, we should see a Florida Gator work ethic. Not you know, my dad just made me come here and I don't really feel like working out, you know, because when I'm training, Mike, you know, could tell you, hey, if you don't feel like working out today, you know, I'm not going to make you. Go ahead, sit down. get used to being on the sideline and on the bench because that's where you're gonna be at. You know, our
that tough love.
Yeah,
that tough love
and
at a young age.
Yeah, and that's what we give them because in this
reality.
day,
You give them reality.
Like you said, with social media, NIL, you know, everybody get pumped up.
Yeah.
And when it come to football, and if you really play, you know that it's not like they pump you up to tear you down. So if you getting hyped up, you better be ready to back it up.
I'm going to have to say something about that. One of our other clients, Julian Lewis,
Yes.
TC, and we talk about this all the time. Like, you know, there's these games of who's higher ranked and this and that. Like, one thing I'll say that TC always says, like, man, one thing is for sure. When it gets down to actually playing football, my son steps on that field, he's going to go and he's going to actually play football.
Yeah.
We're not going to worry about the rankings and who's this today and what NIL deal. Like, when it comes down to actually playing football, and I do agree with you, like, a lot of this now with the NIL, it's, you know, it's a blessing and a curse to social media, right? You kind of need to find exposure, but you can't fall in love with it too much where you think because someone gave you this ranking, all of a sudden that means that you're going to make it, you know?
And when you lace up those cleats, you have to know that everybody on the field is saying, oh, you're DJ Lagway, you're the top guy. If I beat him, what that make me?
Right.
If I pick him off, what that make me? So you got to know what comes with that. And when you lace up those cleats, you better be ready to prove it because that's when you a player and stuff like that and you play it at the highest level, you know that they're gunning for you. You could be playing North Dakota State. You could be playing.
I mean, this boy was on Teddy Bridgewater's ass. I'm sure.
I know.
You could be playing.
He's tracking him. He's tracking him through the heel line. Tendency to go left with his hand. Scoops mashed potatoes with the left.
I mean, North Dakota State.
Mike's notes are crazy.
North Dakota State just gave Colorado a run for them. I mean, it literally came down to a Hail Mary that was not a Hail Mary because he threw it about 5 yards, but had he had a real arm, they might have.
Everybody looking for an opportunity to prove themselves, you know. So we try to have our kids prepare for that. Yeah, you know, you a top guy, you know, we want you to get all that, you know. But at the same time, just know when you step out there, you know, what you need to represent, you know, and that's gotta come from you. I can't want you to be a guy. Mike can't want you to be the number one player. If you don't say I'm gonna be the number one player in the nation, and if you tell me that, I'm gonna say, you know, I don't believe it. You know, show me. Like, I want you to know that I doubt you. Because from my experience, anybody with a killer mentality, when they get doubted, it make them want it even more. So it's kind of like a reverse psychology type of situation, you know, with the kids. Because it's like, oh, you know, I'll come in, yeah, I'll do this, I'll score this touchdown. It's like, yeah, you're weak. I play with dudes in Pop Warner.
You'll ever seen.
I play with dudes in Pop Warner that score 4 touchdowns and they didn't even go to college. So just because you scoring 4 touchdowns a game in Pop Warner, it's like, yeah, I've seen it before, bro. And sometimes it could turn into nothing if you don't build on that. You know, we don't want you to be the best 10-year-old. We want you to be the best at 18, at 22, at 25, you know, and keep getting better because if you peak out at 10, you know?
I mean, do you think that the work you guys are doing at LACED, your kids in specific, right? Because now the dream is for a kid to be able to go to an IMG, Bishop Gorman, right? Some of these like football factory, modern day, right? Right, but I mean, some of your kids end up just going to the local neighborhood schools, right? But the mental that you guys are instilling in their brain, you know, they might already be a better player just mentally than that kid that's at modern day and he's playing with 19 5-stars and they're all going to go to SC, Florida, LSU, all the schools we named, right?
For sure.
So you guys think like what you guys are implementing with the structure is a big part of why your guys are different.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, they see us, right? So, you know, it ain't like when we stopped playing, we had millions of dollars and we started this, you know, like the kids are with us, so they see the things that's happening. You know, like we've been at this new building for about 4 years, but we've been to 4 buildings and they followed us. You know, when I first got a van, I used to pick kids up. Like I'm actually going to pick kids up. We got a 15 passenger and it's 25 kids in the car. You know? Like
the grind.
Get in there.
Get in the car.
The grind.
You know what I'm saying? You know, and they
sit on the floor, we gonna get there.
We gonna get there, you know. We'll show up to practice and kids falling out the van. They like, they're going to LaceFacts kids.
That's that village we talking about though, right?
They go to LaceFacts kids, but at that time
safer the floor
like,
than
at that time people like, you know, that we're saying we're about to make these kids this. At that time, it was like, it was a dream for us. Like, these kids ain't gonna be good. Our youth football team, we're not Super Bowl teams. We're not on a stack team. You know, we play teams like, you know, Wade, like he play on the team and it's him. We have no linemen. You know, and his mom like, oh, he need linemen. I say, no, he don't. If he can throw on this without linemen, then he'll be fine.
And that's gonna help him at the next level.
He'll be fine. You know, like
we may not win the Pop Warner championship, but that's why he's gonna get a Heisman one day.
For sure. I got older kids that's at IMG, and they all played on the same team. We lost to the team 60-6. You know, like blew out. But these kids individually are good, but we're playing against teams that's stacked, that got all the top kids, and it's like, we're not going to join that.
But that's because that's not how you get better.
That's not how you get better.
And I see it all the time. I mean, especially even on the basketball side. I mean, some of these basketball rankings, I mean, and I love these kids. They're like, man, I'm number 9. And I'm like, man, you are. And then I'm looking at the team, it's like number 4, number 2, number 3.
Yeah.
And then my boys go, what happened to that kid you told me about? I'm like, well, he didn't make it. You know why he didn't make it? Because he played with number 1, number 4, number 2, number 3.
Yeah.
Like,
he don't know how to stand
you can't
alone.
pull the LeBron in high school. Like, LeBron did that after he got MVPs and like he had already went to a couple finals and was like, yo, I just want to get a ring.
Yeah.
But like, you don't get there by just kind of cheating the process.
Yeah, I believe in youth football. It's just like, go play somewhere. Like when you get to high school, it's like, it's a more of a, you need that, you're right, because it's a lot more serious.
You need iron sharpens iron.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, but as far as the kids that came out of our program, I mean, they seen what we was going through. You know, we, running out of gas was a typical thing at LACED. Like kids push the van, we're going. You know, that's the beginning stages of where we came from. You know, these kids actually was a part of our, process.
Journey.
Journey.
It's a family.
Yeah. It's a family. You know, it was times when we laugh about it now, we're in a better situation.
Amen.
But it was a time, where, they shut the lights off like during school. And I'm like, okay, we're playing tag. We're playing, hide seat.
We still getting better.
Hide seat.
You can't catch me.
What I'm saying? And the kids like, they don't know what's going on. We know, and
all right, guys, today we're doing sensory testing.
Right, exactly. But the kids understood those journey and we have, from that situation, 25 kids that's in the top 300. That was in those buildings when those things happened.
25 kids?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Like, that was in those buildings, that was pushing the vans,
That's a blessing.
that was going through the stuff. Pandemic, we had to go to a church, and we didn't have weights. I turned a sit-up equipment thing into a bench press. Put a box underneath it and made the sit-up thing go on top, and that's how we did our bench press. We did all the other stuff on the floor, on the grass, on the paper, like straight trench work, and that turned in to gold.
No shade, no AC, none of
no
that.
water.
It's
Water's
just
for the weak. So
I just love the dedication because, like you mentioned your dad, I'm close to my dad, and I watched him literally build his construction company from the ground up and is really successful. He's, made a great living for me and my brother and the family, But I would remember when I was a baby when it wasn't so good and I was his coworker. I'm 4 years old, we pulling up to the house. They're like, where's your coworker? He's like, he's right there. And I got the company shirt on and we building it up,
Yeah.
But you remember that, it toughens you and now, I see my dad doing great things at the corporate level, building these buildings, right? But you never forget that grind that he came from the Robert Taylor Projects in Chicago, right? You never forget that. So you said you got 25 kids in the top 300, but I know they never forget pushing the van. They never forget doing the bench press on that, right?
For sure.
But it's also kudos to you guys because you guys could have quit.
for sure.
Y'all could have quit at any given moment. Like, man, this ain't it, man. Like, let's just go work with Justin.
And on top of that,
let's take one of these kids with Justin and just hope he hits. Like,
and on top of that, we're looking at 90% of the kids is coming for free. That don't have dads
to pay for it.
90% free.
The situation is bad.
Situation.
And how do you tell them, you can't come? You've been coming for 2 years already, and like you said, we've been in the van, we've been working out, we've been doing this. At this point, we're a father figure, mentor, big brother type of situation to them, and it's like, you can't come. And we get so many different types of kids, different calibers of kids, and like we said, it's late, so it's just a game. It's not always physical. it's mental too, you know. So like you said, some people are modern day Bosco. Some people may go to Inglewood. Some people may go to Lusinger. Some people may go to Morningside or these different schools. But it's what type of caliber kid you are, not the potential. What are you now? Do you have the mental and physical to go to modern day? Do you have it? Or maybe, you know, you're not as developed right now. And it may take you a year or two to get ready, you know, get your feet wet, you know, then that may be a situation. So
that can make sense,
we put them in a situation that's best for them. Sometimes they may not like it because, like we said, we 100% honest. We tell you the truth. This is what you have to do to be that. And everybody don't always like it.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's like, oh, no, I could go to modern day. But it's like, okay, now when you don't play at modern day, now what? Are you just going to sit there? Are you still going to work? Are you a good teammate that's going to, you know, help out and cheer on your team and are you going to be the salty guy back there with attitude? You're not playing, you know, and we know our kids. We know what they want, what they good at, what they not good at. So we just try to put them in situations where it's not going to hurt them for them being them. And then they could get better. They going to develop them. You know, we don't like to pass our kids off to, we did all this hard work to get them to think like this. And then when he get to you, you say, oh, that's fine. You know, that's a situation that we have sometimes too. You know, we set this standard.
And then they let it down.
And then they go over here and they say, oh, that was so good. And me and Mike like, so good? Like, that's horrible.
That's what I love that JG does, you know, on the NIL side, right? It's a lot of, not just with the company, but just even with our athletes, right? With a DJ, it's like, hey, you know, we're very hands-on with the decision making too, where it's like, hey, okay, like if a kid came up through LACED, we're not going to go send them to play for some, you know, just saying Nebraska, and we know Nebraska doesn't do things at that trench level, you know? I mean, you guys got a kid that I just think is incredible. Let's talk about Wade, right? We talk about the lights going out. Y'all can kind of talk about how he got that nickname, right? But I mean, I was telling JG, I mean, I got hip to Wade about a year ago, and I have a lot of good friends in scouting circles, and they're using terms like the LeBron of football when they describe Jaden Wade. I mean, this is what NFL scouts are saying to me. So I'm calling JG. I'm like, yo, have you seen this kid? Like, this is incredible. I mean, his skill set's off the charts, but like I told you guys last week on the call, his mental is so beyond his age. I mean, when you see him speak, it reminds me how LeBron would talk when he was 14 or 15. It was like, yo, is this media training or is he just got it? So just talk about how special of a talent Jaden Wade is, how old he was when you guys found him, and just what the ceiling can be if he continues to walk that path. And also
you as a quarterback, you know, obviously watching him be a quarterback, I'm sure that's just interesting too.
Yeah, I mean, I tell everybody, like with our kids, we don't find anybody. They find us, right? So his mom brought him to us when he was 7 going on 8. Right, and he was a kid that, just like Trav, you know, he played quarterback, but all they did was run him, right? And they like, okay, well, we go move him to receiver, and I'm like, have you seen him throw? Like as a kid, like he's throwing the ball like crazy, and they like, no, we just gonna move him to receiver because he's fast, he can one hand catch the ball, you know, he can do certain things, but I'm like, but that's not who he is, you know, and. You know, he's smart. He understands the game. So, you know, I always kept him with the older kids, you know, just helping, you know, and he was discouraged at the beginning, you know, just like any other kid.
Of course.
Oh, you going to have me play with
They 12.
yeah, like, you know, we like, no, shut up. You're going with them. You know what I'm saying? You know, which was good because he didn't have older brothers, but those kids were his older brothers, you know, Zach Ford, which is the number 3 safety in the country, you know, Kasani Giles, Pepe, like he was around those kids, Deshaun, Redo, and Oaks Christian. Like these are all kids that's, you know, was around him at 10 years old when he was, you know, 8, you know. So, you know, putting him in a headlock, you know, he was going through the little brother
stage.
You know what I'm saying? Which
got that greater age.
Yeah, which molded him, and he was able to see them do videos and sit down and watch, and, you know, it was just like, he was growing up fast because he was learning from them. And we always said, you know, he will be, you know, way better than them. And they like, no way. Like, you know, they're playing in basketball. Mike, y'all think he'll be better? You know, and then he got older and he got bigger, you know, and, you know, we're big on rest, you know, going to sleep, you know, get your rest in, his nutrition. He's been lifting since, you know, 8 years old. You know, we don't do the knees, but he's been lifting, like, he's crazy strong right now. And as you can see how much of a physical specimen, he looks, and like Trav say, we give everybody the game. He's actually the one that actually listens to all of it. I tell him I did 1,000 push-ups. He'll hit me up, Mike, I'm doing 1,000 push-ups every night.
Wow. And on his own, man.
On his own.
On, yeah.
So he's actually taking in the information that we're giving and using it, which now we like, okay, he's special. So we just put everything we know behind him, and he's gravitating to it. His mom is not, a quarterback mom where she's like, oh no, my baby not doing that. No, if he goes somewhere and he's not playing right now, he's gonna learn. He's gonna get, we don't shy away from competition. Like that's just something that we instill into him.
Iron sharpens iron.
Absolutely.
Like you saying that.
Absolutely.
I think that's my takeaway from a lot of this conversation is like you guys don't shy away when it gets tough. You're not one of these parents or managers or talent, like that yank them out like, oh, the first time something goes south.
Adversity.
Yeah, no.
Because we know it's gonna get tough.
Yeah.
Like everybody, all the parents, all the kids, Mike could say everybody that's around Lace Facts, they know like adversity. Me, I'm smiling because I know in life is gonna come. So every opportunity you get to get past adversity is good. And to talk about Wade, when we talking and we say we giving the game, he eyes, he listening.
Locked in.
Whatever he don't understand, he's gonna ask questions. Some people, may have a question, they never ask it because they may say, oh, it may sound like this, or
perception.
I don't want to. He asking questions. And I tell him all the time, like, we your secret weapon. No, it's not too many kids that can walk around and say, oh, I could call this guy and ask him anything at any time. And he not going to ask me for nothing, He's just here to help me when I need it. And like I said with the 1,000 push-ups, when we say, hey, if you want to be the best, these are the things you got to do. When we doing conditioning, you have to be in the front. When we lifting weights and working out, you shouldn't be talking. It should be, 100%. And Wade, he goes and he applies that, and he's like, oh, I was in the front. Are you in the front? Yeah, I'm always in the front, Oh, who is doing this? Oh, I'm going to do it. Oh, did you do this? Yes.
A natural born leader.
Yes. Yeah. If you don't have a 4.0, 3.5 and up, it's not going to work. Oh, I got a 4.0. Like, I got to make sure that I do this. So the things that we tell him, the steps that he needs to take to get where he needs to go, he takes account of it. And it's like, okay, I'm going to do that.
He remembers
and he makes
it. He implements
it. And then he'll double back and say, hey, what you say? What did you say? I need to do again? Okay, let me make sure I do that. And that's the thing for Wade, since he been young, he always wanted to be that, He cares about being good, and he want to be the guy. He want to take care of his family. He want to take care of his mom. And to hear a 15-year-old say that, is crazy.
And then you look at the quarterbacks that came out of our building that he was under, Hassan Longstreet, Oscar Rios is committed to Purdue, TJ Lateef that's committed to Nebraska, just to name a few, it's like he was under them and he was competing with them, and he's, 2, 3, 4 years, younger. He can go somewhere and they not even know that he's not the same.
Of course.
Age. Right. Like I throw it just as far as you. Yeah. I'm stronger than you.
I mean, ESPN, they put out their annual list of the best recruits, regardless of class. They have Jaden Wade number 7 on that list. He's the only player from the class of 2028 on that list. Talk about, if he stays on this path, what does his career look like in 5 to 10 years?
Yeah, I'm big on, making sure that he understands where we're trying to go, right? And at the same time, us understanding where he's trying to go as well. So it has to be we both have to all be on the same level, right? So I talked to him, hey, what we're trying to do, and he let me know, I want to be the number 1 player in the country, and he let me know I want to get drafted first round. So all these different things he's telling me, it's like, okay, now it's our jobs to create a plan and put it in place for this to happen.
Execute.
Because it has to be a plan. It can't just go off the wing and just say, oh, I don't think by chance it's whoever's the number 1 player, that everybody just winged it. right? Like once everybody knew that this was a possibility.
Strategy.
It became strategy. It became strategic. What high school you gonna go to, to what college you gonna go to. We're not just closing our eyes and picking a school. Like everything has to make sense, right? With even us picking IMG, we knew that he'd have more battles there than going to any other school, in the country. He can go anywhere else and start, but at IMG, you go face seniors every year that's trying to come in to boost their stock. There's not regular guys, there's gonna be guys, so we wanted him to have that now, because if he did choose to go to a Gator, or a top school, they gonna have a quarterback that's there that you gonna have to outdo. That's just the reality.
No protecting anyone anymore.
It's no protection.
Yeah.
So for us, it's like, let's put him in a worse situation. And we know that individually he can go anywhere with anybody his age or up and really compete and show them who he is. But in this situation and scenario for him, we wanted him to go somewhere where it's competition and somewhere that's go test him. Because he calls now, they got a good quarterback senior that's there, and he's like, how can I get better? How can I overcome this situation that I'm in? And we tell him, and he go out and do it. So, and he's growing. He just had growing pains, so he's about 6'5" now. So
what?
Yeah, and I'm praying it stops.
Hey, you're about to get over here. Hey, the first 6'9" quarterback in league history.
But he overcame that from the summer. But all in all, we just want to create a plan that works for him, for what he wants, and give him all the opportunities, but also create an environment that he can't control. Like we want to create those things right now. You can't control this, so how are you going to
beautiful
deal
chaos.
With it? How you gonna deal with it?
Yeah,
You're still in IMG,
right. Like what are you gonna do?
And how are you gonna handle it? Because it's certain situations to where you could be given things. No, we want you to go take it. We want you to. It's a quote or a video with Nick Saban. We always, he says different stuff, but make us play you. When we're looking down the sideline and we're looking at who we should play, we have to say that there's no way we cannot go out here without him. That's what we need you to do. And if you want to be the number one quarterback, you want to go to the NFL, these are things that you have to do. And for a 15-year-old to say, the certain parties, certain people you hang with, certain stuff, you want to let a kid be a kid, but at the same time, the average kid don't want to be the number one player in the nation. The average kid don't want to put their family on their back, and take care of their family. So I don't,
you gotta make sacrifices.
You got to make a decision.
That's what come with it.
And he's okay with that. I don't do that, Trav. I'm doing this. I'm gonna stay at home and I'm gonna do this. And I'm like, for a 15-year-old, he is real mature, so 5-10 years from now, I can only imagine, that because where he's at now, 5 years from now and growing on top of that, I could just see it just, multiplying and him being able to go out there and you can say, you know what, I could control the offense. I could control the huddle because it was adversity for being an 8th grader in the huddle with seniors in high school, and they looking like, oh, little kid, this. And he like, but now I'm in the huddle and they listening.
Right.
I tell them, hey, let's go, and everybody, and I'm like, you have to demand that. If you act like a kid and, you feel intimidated, that's how they're going to treat you.
Well, because it comes full circle. Because you go pro in the NFL, now you're a 21-year-old rookie with 38-year-old teammates who's got like 5-7 kids. So you got to get it now,
Absolutely.
You guys are doing incredible work. I think Jaden, I think the world of Jaden, I think the world of you guys, I think the world of all the kids, I think, in closing, leave me and JG with just some words of wisdom for somebody out there that wants to start their own Lace Facts Academy, maybe somewhere in Nebraska, 2 brothers that just have no idea where their life is going but want to get things on track for their neighborhood. And also, what do you guys want the legacy of Lace Facts to be?
Yeah, so for anybody that's trying to start this or do anything like this, you got to take the goods with the bads, right? And every kid that you get is not going to be what you want them to be right now.
Right.
You know, you have to put the time in. You know, for every kid that you see come from us, they weren't like this. You know, they had different like spurts of showing that they could be that, but it was the time that we put in to make sure that they was that, you know, and you know, that's really what it comes down to, you know. And you know, down the road, I think, you know, I wanna say, you know, we gonna have the most kids in the NFL that comes from, you know, a school, right? A middle school. So, you know, putting at least 25, you know, guys in the NFL, like that's you know, the goal, you know, over 10 first round draft picks. Like,
that's a great goal.
So, you know, we're headed to it.
Yeah, and for me, just giving game on, you know, if they wanted to start a school, I would just say, you know, the same adversity and mental battles that the kids have to get through, we do too.
Yeah.
Because it's not, we're football players, we're athletes, so going into the business aspect of it, it's like starting over, you know, because when we was growing up, you know, I didn't have like, you know, the business, this, I was all football, all sports, all this. So now going into the school, you know, we know the football stuff, but I would just say on the business aspect, you know, do your research. Don't bite off more than you could chew, you know, take it one step at a time. Everybody not going to believe in you, and you got to keep going, you know, because it's going to be a lot of doubts. When you're doing something nobody never done before, it's going to be a lot of doubts, you know. It's going to be everybody not going to be on the same level and see your vision, and you just push through that, you know, because as we could say now, years later, that, yeah, people didn't believe in it, but now people starting to believe. People starting to see, you know, when you plant those seeds, you know, people don't believe till the, you know, the tree starts showing. So I would just say, you know, don't get discouraged early because you could easily do that.
And be mentally prepared that people are going to doubt you.
Yes, it's gonna happen. They're gonna doubt the kids. They're gonna doubt that. So not only do you have to have your mental right, you got to have your mental right and the kids' mental right, because they on roller coasters too, just in their career as, oh, I had a good year, oh, I got injured, oh, I get that. And like me and Mike tell the kids all the time, there's nothing that you're going to go through that one of us didn't go through. And if we didn't go through it personally, my teammate did, my friend did, or I know somebody that did, that could talk to you about that, and you could get advice, you know, on how they handled it. So maybe, you know, you can handle it this way. And, you know, we just there to be that, you know, mentor and give them the game.
I love it.
Man, we'll keep being that guy in light, man. I thank, you know, both of you for sitting with us today. Like we said, we always end the show on Chuck's Bullshit of the Week. My Bullshit of the Week this week is football's back tonight.
Yep,
you know, the Chiefs about to kick off, get that banner hung. My Super Bowl pick is the Bears versus Chiefs. I will see you guys in New Orleans when my Bears finally get that ring again. Look, man, I want the NFL to start the season on Labor Day Monday. I want Monday Night Football. That's my Bullshit of the Week. We need Goodell to start the season on Labor Day Monday so we ain't got to sit in traffic on Thursday and watch the game on our phone, okay? Don't do that, kids. Don't follow my lead.
Or you just want to watch that FSU game.
Yeah, exactly. No, the FSU, we don't need no college ball. We want the NFL starting on Monday Night Football. So let's change that start next season. Like I said, Bears, Chiefs, Super Bowl pick. I want to thank Mike Evans, Travis Harvey, Lace Facts Academy for being in the building. I'm Chuck. It's JG signing out. Thanks to Luis and Carson. We'll see you guys on the next episode.
Yeah, thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Awesome.